This podcast is not sponsored or supported by any business or organization. The views reflected on these podcast episodes are my own. Please be aware I am not a medical expert, travel agent, or any other kind of expert. Hey everyone, welcome to the Eat, Explore, Love podcast. I'm Ashley. This podcast is based off of my blog of the same name, Eat, Explore, Love. It talks about the unique challenges in traveling around the world when you have celiac disease. Due to sort of popular demand, I decided to also record a podcast to delve a little deeper into my travels and the lessons learned along the way. Hi everyone! As we approach the end of the year, we are also approaching the end of season 1 of Eat, Explore, Love, the podcast. It's been a wild ride with lots of adventures to share. We are taking the first few months of the year to regroup and figure out our next steps, and the Eat, Explore, Love team would love to hear from you. We have a couple of ideas brewing, but we want to hear from our listeners to see if there's anything that would be helpful for you. We're looking for any type of feedback, ranging from, should I look into getting a co-host? Would you like to be more of an active part of the podcast where I interview you guys about your favorite cities? Would you want to hear from more medical experts, travel experts, self-love experts? If you have any thoughts, we want to hear them at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. We at Eat Explore Love appreciate all of your support and kindness in listening over the past year. That's 130 episodes that you've sat through and listened to. I've been so lucky to not only be able to go on all the adventures I've been able to experience, but I've been so lucky to have all of you to share this with. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter and send us an email at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. Now, back to the show. Welcome to another episode of Eat, Explore, Love, the podcast. On today's episode, we have another Million Miles blogger, founder of Hair Biz, and the brand ambassador for Ulta, Matrix, and L'Oreal, Danielle Keasling. Also, should I mention that she was the best hairstylist of 2018? As someone that knows absolutely nothing about hair and beauty products, that's me. I loved getting to chat with Danielle to learn not only about all that encompasses beauty, but how to balance health and wellness while traveling around the world, being a female entrepreneur, and making sure to take in your accomplishments along the way. Find out all that and more on this episode of Eat, Explore, Love, the podcast. Hi, Danielle. It is so nice to meet you. Welcome to Eat, Explore, Love, the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I did read up a little bit about you, and you have quite the impressive resume. But I would love to hear in your own words who you are and introducing yourself to the listeners here as far as what you wanted to focus on in today's conversation, because it's vast what you do.
I have been basically my roots and my staples have been in the beauty industry for over 25 years. I started off as a hairdresser behind the chair, and I moved into editorial work and working with celebrities. And then it just kind of snowballed into this plethora of working for brands and then kind of merging into marketing. And so basically what I do now is I'm an artistic director for a couple brands in L'Oreal, and then as well as an ambassador for Ulta Beauty and Great Lengths worldwide hair extensions. So I work with marketing teams, and we kind of create campaigns and the marketing and the looks of what's going on, the trends, the season. And on top of that, I also do coaching. I do keynote speaking, leadership speaking, and kind of women's entrepreneurial motivation. And then I'm super, because of all the craziness in my life, I have to stay really healthy. So I'm into health, wellness, biohacking, lifestyle, all of that. So I have a blog that encompasses my travel life and all the things that keep me surviving.
I want to start off by the woman entrepreneurial spirit that you have and advice that you might give. Because whenever I feel like when you're starting off as a hairdresser, you don't necessarily see yourself all of what you have done since then, or maybe you did. I don't, but I guess that's my question of as each step and opportunity was offered, was that set as an intention from the beginning, or did you doors just open and you walked through? How did that all work for you?
Yeah, so no. So I went to cosmetology school thinking I just wanted to do hair. I just loved it. I had no one in my family did it, but I just had a knack for it, and it was something that was like that's what I was going to do. And then just I think as my career developed and I realized, to be honest, if you have that left and right mindset and brain, there's such an entrepreneurial side of the beauty industry. And I mean, we consumers spend billions and billions of dollars every year in cosmetics and beauty. And I mean, so much money is being made in the beauty side of things. One thing led to another. I'm a very big believer in mindset, and I'm also a big believer in manifestation. So um, it was just like goal setting, when once I accomplished a goal, what was the next
Mhm.
step? Where was the next goal? I didn't really have any clue what I would be doing 25 years later. But I also believe in, like, if you want to move forward in life, you have to set goals. You have to be open. You have to be open to what the universe wants to like provide you. And it's like magic. It really is.
Do you feel, because when my career has kind of gone zigged and zagged and gone all over the place, and usually it's opportunities of, okay, I don't necessarily know what I want to do with my career next, but I do know I want to travel the world more and things like that. So what, and I get, when doors open for me, I go, oh, well, that's allowing me to do X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to go through that door as opposed to door number three. Is there anything in particular that
Yeah.
when you're picking your opportunities that sticks out to you and makes you want to jump for one opportunity over the other? How do you make those decisions?
I'm so like I'm very flexible
Yeah.
person. So like that is one of the things that when I just and I haven't always been like that. I grew up with a mother that was like OCD. I was like a total like perfectionism, paralyzation.
Mhm.
Um, so I it was a learned behavior, and I had to really work on breaking it. Once I kind of decided that, what's the worst that's going to happen if I like make the wrong decision, I can always go back to what I was
Right.
doing. Once I kind of wrapped my head around that concept, like it started opening up
Mhm.
doors. And that's when I mean, like, think of it. Like, I always hear people, and I hear myself say it. I'm like, oh, and I'll be like, I'm really bored where I live and I want to move. And it's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, you're gonna pick up your stuff, you're gonna pack up your stuff, you're gonna move across to the other side of the world or whatever, and then you can always move back if you don't like it. So really, what is the worst that can happen when you put yourself into those opportunities? And I think about that a lot. I think about, is there a negative reaction to this decision, and it does it outweigh the balance of that, like the positives that could happen from it? And honestly, again, it's like just trusting in yourself and trusting in like what the world has to offer you if you're open to it.
That's, I think I'm starting to get to where you're at of just, whatever way the wind blows, it could always go back to where it was. So
Yeah.
before we started recording, you were talking about that you just got back from a trip and that you're about to go on another trip. And I noticed a thing that's starting to happen to me is that I am now becoming, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm getting sick all the time now, every time I travel, which never happened to me before to the extremes that it's happening. Is that what has
Yeah.
started to get you on your health and wellness journey and finding ways of taking better care of yourself? Can you tell me a little bit more about that journey?
Yeah, so before COVID, I don't know how I survived. Like, I don't know how I traveled the way I did. I don't know how I wasn't sleeping. I didn't prioritize sleep.
Mm,
I prioritized exercise. So I would get up at, it didn't matter if I slept 3 hours, I would go to the gym and get on an aerobic machine. Like, I've completely changed my mindset about working out. Not that I don't work out, but I do like somatic workouts. I do a lot of yoga. I do a lot of like low impact. I'm not doing any cardio hardly. I mean, like, I'll go take a walk, but like, I'm the thinnest and probably healthiest I've been. I'm 45, well, 44. Let me don't add an extra year, Danielle. um, but I realized when I went back to work after COVID how totally unhealthy
mm,
I was. And like, people looked at me as a healthy person because I was in the beauty
yeah,
industry, and I did do like supplementation, and but I didn't prioritize sleep. I didn't prioritize like like my mindset, my state of being. And one of the things that I have learned is if I can't show up for me, I can't show up for anyone.
yeah.
And yesterday it was like, I learn every year that I go, but like, I took a red eye home on what today is, Saturday. So I took a red eye home Thursday, showed up to my house yesterday morning. And the old me would have powered through the day and just been like, no, I took a red eye to like make up time. I can sleep on the plane. And now I like totally succumb to taking a nap.
Mm,
And I'm not really a nap taker. I have to do like like put the sleep mask on, take a hot shower, like it's got to be a thing, but like I'm like, there's no, like, for what reason?
right.
Because I'm only giving half of myself in this like mindset right now,
Mm,
and it's not worth it, and it just drags the whole process
yeah.
out when you could just get some sleep and you'll be in such a different mindset.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sleep makes all the difference in the world. And I actually, before speaking with you, I spoke with someone else about how I need to do better at and different ways I could do better at going to sleep. Because I think that's my number one complaint I have is I just never feel rested or anything like that. So this is a podcast about people that, me traveling the world and then also about a lot about having dietary restrictions and things like that. Do you when you're
Mhm.
traveling as frequently as you're seeming to based on this conversation, how do you manage food planning for yourself and making sure that you're eating healthy as well?
So I do a couple things. I am like the crazy one that shows up. I laugh. I'm like, I have my tools to do like hair and campaigns. Then I have my vitamin supplements, protein powders, bars,
Yeah.
shakes, like everything I have to add into my like diet. And then I have my clothes. But when I'm traveling, I like wear all black. So it doesn't, I can mix and match. It's like the last thing. So I'm like the ungirly girl in fashion. I'm like, okay, I need my tools and my supplements, and like the rest I can, buy if I need it when I get there. Um, so I do a lot of pre-planning as far as I try to stick to a lot of brands that I have just that are sustainable. For me, I'm pretty keto. I do eat carbs, but
Mhm.
for the most part it's not my thing. But and then when I'm traveling, I just try to mindfully eat.
Yeah.
Like, I try to take time to sit
Mhm.
and like enjoy my food rather than just eating to eat. And like, the other thing is when you're traveling internationally
Mm.
and even domestically from West Coast to East Coast, as much as I do, like, you kind of have to break your own mindset patterns about what time it
Yeah.
is and like why it matters. Like, it's like, so it's breakfast. No, does it? Is it like, does it matter? Like, just eat when you're hungry, And I'm very like, cuz again, we just get so programmed. Society programs us through media, through all of these, so social media, TV, like all of these things to like, well, if you do it like this, you're going to get these results. And it's like, no, just listen to your body.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing is when I've decided in the last couple of years to like seriously listen to my
Yeah.
body and like not just say I'm listening to my body. I could be like that person that was like, "Oh, I know I'm going to get sick. I can feel it. I'm going to go, like sleep for 12 hours and then I'll just like be able to kick it." But that was it. That was the only time I would listen to my body because I didn't have the time to be sick.
Right.
It was like it was either that or this,
Mm.
right? And now I'm like, no, do you want to have an anxiety attack and you want to cry for 3 hours and not know why you're crying? Or do you just want to go take a nap and like
Yeah.
be done with it?
I love that. And I worked on a lot of sets over the years, and you are on par with most hair, makeup folks that I encounter on sets where they're like Mary Poppins in their bags. They just have everything you could possibly need and somehow they fit it into their little toolkit. So I love how on brand you are with my experience of folks on
Yes, I have that. Like, why? Why do I have that? Why do I have? Don't ask, just use it.
So, as you've gone through and you've learned how to take care of yourself, and with all of what I just said in mind, how do you take that to your brand partnerships and make sure that they're creating products that focus on health and wellness and make sure it's not chemicals that we're putting on our faces and things like that? How does that process work?
Yeah. It's a great question. So I'm very like, I don't really. I work for a couple brands, right? That I just do like campaigns for, and I don't really like. It's more of a marketing perspective.
Mhm.
But when I go and represent a brand on my social media, especially, like I have to be aligned with the brand. I cannot be one of these people that just talks as an ambassador to make
Yeah.
money. Like that has just never been me. It would be weird if I did that. People would be like, what is she doing? So I have to really align with like the core values of what the brands I do represent with um and I pick and choose. I'll be honest. Like I'm I might have similar positions in a lot of brands. Like Great Links Extensions is a perfect example. They're the only B Corp hair extension company in the entire world,
Mm.
and it's like that's huge because hair extensions can be like a really dark storyline
Mm.
and backstory with how they source hair. And I literally like it's like I work for the only certified B Corp extension company in the world. And then it goes like into like how does that like how am I the face of Biolage? Well, we're again cruelty free. We have the bunny certificate. We do all and we know animal testing. We do as much quality ingredients as we can to like try to, and I always have a say in it because I'm on the artistic director side and I also am the hairdresser.
Mm.
So like I'm bringing them information that's like, no, listen,
Yeah.
like this is what the world needs. And there's brands that like I don't necessarily like I can't say like I can get really that involved in their ingredients list,
Mhm.
but there is an exclusivity like dynamic to it or a diversity dynamic to it, like Matrix Hair
Mhm.
Care. I do color for them and like they're all inclusive and they have like this beautiful portfolio of diverse worldwide. That's who I travel with a lot to do shows for in different countries, and I'm able to go experience cultures in different countries that
Mm.
I get to like learn and like figure out what they need and what we don't necessarily use in the United States. So, each of the brands that I work with and like even into health and wellness, like I do some stuff with like Dave Asprey, with his coffee line that led me into like activation products. I cold plunge. So like I work with a bunch of like random off brands, but they all like have to work with me and they all have to like know who I am, know I'm going to be authentic, know that like I might not always like I mean, you might have to hound me down because I'm working with so many people. Like, but I am human.
Mhm. Yeah.
And and that's the other thing I always say. I'm like, I'm human. I'll make mistakes, and sometimes you have to chase me for things, but it's not because I don't want to do them. It's because there's just so many hours in the day. But if I align with you, I align with you,
Mhm.
and I think that's the most important, is that loyalty.
I love that. I this is not a visual medium and how this podcast is put out. It's audio only, but if people could see the juxtaposition of, you are so well put together, your hair is everything I aspire for my hair to look like but can never get to look like. Your makeup is on point, and I am in a scrunchie and in my sweats and no makeup on. And I actually just learned how to put so I went to an Ulta and I was like, you have to teach me how to put makeup on. Because I'm 29 years old and I need to start looking like it and acting like it. And I need to put myself together some of the time. So, with all that context of who I am, I see on
Yeah.
commercials and on social media that there'll be a brand ambassador, but I never quite know what that entails or what that means. So, with
Uh-huh.
all that you know about me and how much I clearly don't know about beauty and all that other stuff, can you explain it in terms that maybe I would understand, of the importance of the brand ambassadorship and what that all entails?
Yeah, so I feel like the brand ambassador is the connection between the brand itself and the consumer,
Okay.
right? We're all consumers, no matter what job we do. We all consume something, right? And I mean, I'm a consumer of Ulta Beauty, and I'm also a brand ambassador of Ulta Beauty. I literally just spent an hour and a half there today, like, because I have a photo shoot this week, and I was like changing my. I was just at an Ulta Skin Love Your Skin campaign, and the makeup artist there, Jenna, was like, "Oh my god, you have to try this Maybelline like skin tint foundation." And I'm like, "Really?" Like, I like usually like I'm usually NARS, or I'm
Yeah.
like, I spend so much money in cosmetics. And she's like, "Oh my God, it's the best." She's like, used it on every celebrity, the Met Gala, like for everything this last year. And I'm like, stop. And so I went to Ulta today and, like sat there for an hour and a half and like got all these people to test things on me. And I think the biggest thing with being an ambassador for products is like helping people understand like what the actual product is and like how to use it. Because again, it's a perfect example. I would have never, not to be like that person or bougie, not like Maybelline's is bad, but like I'm connected to so many brands that like at what I'm using Armani foundation and Fenty foundation, and like I'm telling you, this is like why my skin looks so good today. It was that it's that Maybelline skin tint stay in
Wow.
place foundation. And it was not even that Jenna was an ambassador for them, but she's an ambassador for Ulta Beauty because she's doing makeup for a lot of our photo shoots. And it's just the education behind being an ambassador, and then also the authenticity about being an ambassador for a brand. Like, it's pretty obvious when people are just doing things just to make money off of it. And, when you're authentic and you're actually educating people, that's the gap. So you want to find people that like online, social media, whether it's blogging, like I'm starting to build out my lifestyle blog, which is another million miles. And the reason that I actually started another million miles was because I'm so tired of watching all these people with no credentials on like YouTube or on platforms, and they're just like, they don't have credentials, they don't have industry experience, and they're giving advice, and some of the advice is like way off par. And not that you can't be an influencer without like 25 years in the business, but I was on the other side of things, like paying influencers and going, like I actually have been doing this for 25 years. Why am I not bridging the gap like they are to consumers? And that's kind of how another million miles got born. So
Yep.
Yeah, and it's been fun. It's like a passion
Yeah,
project.
I feel like you always need your passion projects to fuel your main projects somehow.
Yes, because that doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. What do you feel is the most rewarding part of the brand ambassadorship? Is it getting to experience different cultures that causes you to learn more and bring those skills back home? Is it getting to connect with folks like me that know absolutely nothing and make them know something? How does that all work on your end of it?
I think it's I'm still learning it. You know, it's funny because I'm on like such a different level of brand ambassadorships, right?
Mhm.
I've been doing it on such a high level with like the big brands that I work for and that I'm a face for. And now that I'm doing it on these like smaller micro influencing level, I'm learning like a whole nother side of brand ambassadorship. And what I mean by that is like, you know, I'm the face of Biolage as a
Mhm.
perfect example. Like it's one of the most recognized names in American and worldwide beauty for shampoo and conditioner and hair care. And I've been working with them for years, and like that position is different than being a ambassador for, you know, a supplement line, because like I don't have I have a big like I have a big hand in Biolage, but I
Mhm.
don't have a big hand in a supplement
Yeah.
line. I'm just doing it because I like the product
Yeah.
genuinely. So it's a learning for me. It's also interesting because I'm a very confident person, but I'm confident in what I know,
Mhm.
right? And so when you get into dealing with like as a micro influencer and you get into dealing with like what that looks
Mhm.
like as a business, it's very different than what I do with my like career or
Right.
where I started. So I'm still like learning what that looks like. But I think that the biggest pleasure for me is like to just genuinely authentically share like what works for me, be vulnerable. um i I don't sometimes it's like it seems like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors
Mhm.
on social media, and so I try to just be vulnerable.
Mhm.
Sometimes it gets me in trouble. I won't lie, because it's like, oh, you're like this big name for these brands, and you shouldn't be, you know, like showing up at a bikini and getting into your cold plunge. And I'm like, really? Like you can go to the beach and see people in their bikinis.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but it's just it's a perception
Mhm.
thing, and it's so interesting because like people perceive you as a certain way, and like then they put like what is like okay to do and what's not okay to do, and I'm like, that's life,
Yeah.
you know. It's like, again, we're all human. We like have like none of us. We shouldn't live in smoke and mirrors, I should say.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Is that what Another Million Miles does, is help you kind of expand just beyond the brands that you work with and go into the other parts of your personality as well?
Yeah, yeah. So like I have such a strong name in the beauty industry as a hairstylist, and like I've done coaching and consulting. I have a company called Hair Biz and
Mhm.
Beyond, which we coach and consult beauty pros to like make next steps in their career.
Mhm.
But I just found myself, especially during COVID and after COVID, getting into so many different areas
Mhm.
of like health, wellness, travel. Like, I'm like, why am I not doing travel
Yeah.
blogging? I traveled the entire world
Yeah.
teaching, but I wasn't in that mindset of like, why, like I was just like a hair person.
Right.
I was like so focused in, I do hair, I teach hair, I inspire hairdressers, where once I kind of got out of that box and out of my own way, I was like, well, no, actually, I travel for a living. I'm like in the coolest hotels, some of the
Yeah.
most beautiful countries. I have some of the most great experiences, especially when I go and do these, because the teams want me to experience their culture. So they I get like a next level like sometimes experience. I'm like, why am I not educating people about this? Like, you don't need to know about hair to like know who I am or like what I'm doing. So yeah, it's just kind of evolved, and that's, like I said, my passion project. And yeah, that's the fun. It's still a lot of
Yeah.
work. I'm like, why did I like, you could just say, but that's the entrepreneur side.
Yeah.
And when you said like when doors open and how do you make your decisions? I'm like, I don't really think too hard about it. I
Yeah.
just do it. And at the again, what's the worst that could happen? People are going to judge me. Okay,
Yeah.
not everybody's cup of tea.
What do you feel are next steps in how you want to manage your career? Or are you just enjoying the ride right now of you've got your passion project and just helping that grow? How do you foresee the next, I don't know, I hate this question. I'm sorry that I'm asking it, but like the next year or two, is the focus just getting another million miles off the ground and just being
Yeah, I think that it's really staying present,
Mm,
and then kind of enjoying the ride. I've never really enjoyed the ride. I've always been like the workaholic, and I've always been like, okay, I won hairdresser of the year in 2018, and I didn't even stay to celebrate. My team stayed. I got on a plane and flew to South Africa to do a whole program, and like never took the time to even like digest it.
yeah,
Like it was just like win, go, get on a plane, fly across the world, do a show. By the time I got back from, and it was a pivotal moment, I think, in my
yeah,
mindset. By the time I got back, caught up from being gone for 2 weeks, all of the buzz wore
yeah,
off. And I was like, damn, I didn't even like celebrate that I just won hairstylist of the year in North America.
yeah,
I'm like, that's like the biggest, like it's like the Grammys
yeah,
for hair, right? And it was just like on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And at the end of the year, it was like December and it was 2019. And I was like, wow, that was weird. Like I'm 2018's North American Hairstylist of the Year. And I like literally didn't take any of it
yeah,
in.
yeah,
And so now I'm learning to like just like take in the wins. Like, don't have to rush to the next thing. If people want to work with you, they're going to, like, everyone has their things. Everyone's got to be patient. Like, you have to, like, take a deep breath and, like, either it'll work out or it won't work out. But if it doesn't work out, that's probably meant to be like that.
yeah. I had a similar situation earlier on in my career where I got an Emmy Award, and I am so glad that it happened at 23 as opposed to later on in my life because I had to learn that lesson really young of it's not the end all be all of like I'm glad that I didn't work my whole life because there was no real buzz the way that I won it. It was just I was sitting on my couch and I got an email and they're like, by the way, you won this thing. And then it was kind of I didn't know what to do with myself. um,
Yeah.
and it also taught me that lesson of make sure you celebrate all the moments because you never know when they're coming around again. And my career took me way off to a different direction where it will probably never happen again. And I'm really glad that I had to learn the lesson of, and I used to be so embarrassed to even talk about it, of my accomplishments and what I was able to do, especially so young. And I, uh, I've gotten over it. I think it's like, you know what? Yeah, I accomplished something and I accomplished it fairly quickly. And that's pretty darn cool. And I feel like we need to celebrate those things more. And I think that's also, I wonder if it's a woman thing of, I was raised in like a very different way of um you are to get married, have children, and that is like what and maybe it's a bonus if you have a cool career, but like that's not the end all be all. And I took the career is the end all be all for me route. And those accomplishments are my equivalent of people having those other life milestones, and it doesn't make me any more or less. So for that with you, are there any moments throughout your career that you point to that you were like, you know what? My life has taken me in all sorts of crazy directions, and I'm really proud of these key moments throughout my career.
Yeah, all the time. Like, literally all the time. Um, and that's again, I just had once I let go. Like I used to I was just like you. I was almost embarrassed to talk about like what I
Mhm.
did, what I like accomplished. I even behind the chair as a young hairstylist, I bought my first house before I was 21, and I was like, I'm like without my like my I didn't, my family was like fine,
Mhm.
but like they didn't give me the money to do it.
Yeah.
I earned the money.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is like the goal. This
Mhm.
is the plan. I always drove nice cars. I like, and it's funny. I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, you have specific things that like your parents like ingrain in your brain that you don't even know. Like
Mhm.
my parents weren't like they were like my dad was a pilot and he would like go to, Japan and Tokyo and all, like he would always buy fake Rolexes. So like I always like was that person that like would like I'm like, why would anybody spend money on like a real Rolex or a real Louis Vuitton bag or a pair of shoes? Like, but that's like the shit your parents like
Right.
ingrain in your head,
Right.
because of the actions that they do.
Mhm.
But they always drove nice cars. So I would justify my stupid expensive car. Like, but
They're
that's like what
paying
we
for
grow
you.
up with,
Yeah.
right? Your point. So once it so I think too, my parents were humble people. They were smart, but like they didn't talk about like their
Mhm.
successes. Especially my father. My father was the successful one. He didn't talk about it. So I didn't grow up talking like I don't I still to this day I have a hard time. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, people are like, you're probably the most branded hairdresser in the industry.
Mhm.
Like, how do you work for all of these huge
Yeah.
companies? And I'm like, to be honest with you, I don't even think about it. Like, I just go. Like, I get a phone call and I say yes, and I'll figure it out later. And that's just worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody like that, but I've just learned that it works for me,
Yeah.
you know? And there's people that I coach that would drive them absolutely crazy.
Mhm.
But so when you say pivotal moments, I think every phone call that I've gotten where a brand wants to work with me, even every like client that I get a call from or an email like that says I want you to coach me. I mean, these are all like things that I'm like, wow, it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. I love that. So for the layman like me, that my go-to is to put my hair in a scrunchie because I just get very overwhelmed and confused when I try to do my hair. For someone like me, I'm going to take advantage of the time that I have with you.
Yeah,
Do you
for
have
sure.
do you have any quick easy tips of simple things that can be done to make your hair look nice? Because I try oils that I put in my hair. My sister told me I had to shampoo twice and then condition and then use a scrub brush. And it's just all enough. The end result is always the same. So, what are some things that I could do to present myself a little bit better, maybe feel better too?
Do you have natural wave to your hair? It looks like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So shampoo, conditioner, and like foundational products are like really the key to like
Hmm.
good hair care. I mean, I use very minimal styling products on my hair. And but like it has to be good for your type of hair. So like I honestly like without being able to feel your hair, I would say like go into like when you're going into your hairstylist, you like this is such a funny thing to say because I coach this all the time and I'm like, okay, hairstylists they will always say, I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, I don't want you to sell anything. I want you to educate your client.
Right.
Like educate your guest on what is going to change, fix their problem,
Hmm.
solve their problem. That's all I want you to do. Give them all the educated information to make an educated decision on what they want to actually do and purchase and what they don't. And that's like literally because consumers are going to go and find it
Hmm.
somewhere, right? And so, like, one of the things is like people underestimate shampoo, conditioner, and like creams and
Mm.
like the foundation and the base of like your hair. And natural curly hair, like your hair is a sponge. So if you think of a sponge the way you think of your hair, and you drop like a dry sponge into a bucket of water, your hair is just going to soak up
Mm.
everything, all the water, right? But if your hair is already full of water, the sponge is already full of water, and you drop it into a wet bucket of water, it's like already got water in
Mm.
it, right? And so natural curly hair, what it wants to do is it wants to absorb all the humidity, all the
Mm.
moisture from the air, all of the everything. So like you have to like fill the cuticle up, fill the hair up with moisture and like protein and like all of the goodness, and then it will behave better basically, because your hair just is like looking for a good balance, and when it doesn't have the good balance, it reacts like it's either going to get like staticky, or it's going to get
Mm.
frizzy, or it's going to get weighed down. It's like, so like you just got to find that good balance, and then you can kind of build off of that. So I always say, shampoos for the scalp, that's the biggest thing. So like shampooing your hair does nothing. Like it doesn't matter. You want to shampoo your scalp. Like
Okay.
that's the foundation of your hair. And then your hair again is a sponge. So if your hair is full of water and you put conditioner on, the conditioner is not going to soak into your hair.
Okay.
So taking a towel and like dry, like semi just hand drying your hair in the shower before you put conditioner on, now your hair is actually going to absorb the conditioner. So you're going to waste less product, and you're going to put more moisture into your
Okay.
hair. And like it's those little things like that that most people don't know. And I'm like, I don't understand why stylists don't talk about this. Like, why? It's just an education process. And then again, when you get out of the shower, like, what are you using to like lock in the
Mm.
moisture? Like a leave-in. If your hair is damaged, if you have color on it, you should be using like a leave-in treatment that's like color treated
Mm.
hair, heat protection, all of the things. Um, there's, the skincare industry does it really well.
Mm.
We are just conditioned to know we need a cleanser, a toner, a day moisturizer, a night serum, a vitamin C serum, an eye cream, a blah blah blah. Like we're like
Yeah.
most people, women use like 8 to 10
Yeah.
steps, and everyone in the hair, they think shampoo, conditioner, hairspray, and I'm like, no, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Or they'll even try to be like an all-in-one shampoo and conditioner and a hairspray. I'm like, no, you don't get those
Yeah.
results. So if you think of hair care like skincare, that's the way I always like try to get. And like anytime you go in and get your hair done, like keep asking questions until you get them to answer you.
Okay.
Because they're more programmed to like be resistant to sales rather than just be like, just educate me.
Yeah.
Like, what if this was your hair, what would you do? If this was your hair, how would you treat it?
Yeah.
Like, what are the steps? Like, I know that I need to do multiple
Yeah.
things. So, you know,
That was super
that's the
helpful.
best
Um,
advice.
now I wish I was doing this podcast with you in person, so I was able to be like, okay, here, feel it, tell me exactly what to do. Because I feel, oh gosh, I really need work on that. I need like a whole makeover edition. There used to be that TV show that used to do it with people's clothing and
Yeah.
stuff, where they would stalk people for a week and then videotape them. I need to be on a show like that.
Yes.
But there's so much to talk to you about, but I know that we're running close to time. I always do a rapid fire with every guest in the eat, explore, love vein. So, is it okay if I just ask you three rapid fire questions?
Of course.
Amazing. So, in your opinion, because you've said that you've traveled throughout the world, in your opinion, what is the city with the best food?
Ooh, a city with the best food. Morocco.
I've heard that before, and I need to get my behind over there if that's the case.
Yeah. It's just magical.
I love.
And the food is like you can find anything and everything there too.
Ooh,
So
okay.
like it's very expat, like it's very not what I was expecting.
I love that.
So I thought I was going to go to like Morocco and eat like Moroccan food
Yeah.
and like, no, like, I mean, I did and it's like unbelievable, but like they have everything.
I love that. I
Yes.
think I know the answer to this, but do you prefer a vacation that requires you to be active or relax?
That's actually a really good question. It depends on what mindset I'm in. Um, I am a very active
That was my
person.
assumption.
Like
Yeah.
I've done the hike to the Machu Picchu like for 6 days and backpacking, and I'm a very active person. But I also just went to Indonesia. I was teaching in Jakarta, and I ended up in Bali, and I basically like, and I'm into yoga,
Mhm.
and like I do yoga every day that I'm home. I didn't do it one time. I'm like, I am going to where everybody goes to like learn, teach, like
Yeah.
do yoga. I didn't do it one time. I was like I like sat my butt on the beach and like slept and like laid in my villa. I was just burnt
Yeah.
out. So it goes back to like, listening to your body.
Yeah.
And part of me was having like major foam. Like I'm like, I can't believe I'm like in Bali and I'm not at the best yoga studios and do like, but like I was like, Danielle, like
Yeah.
stop. Like just like you're freaking on vacation by yourself, which was like heaven. And I'm like at a really two really nice resorts. I'm like, just enjoy like you don't have to go do
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? It's very hard for me.
I have the same issue and I have to force it into the schedule of the vacation where I just sit and do nothing. Yeah. And just sit, read a book and enjoy and eat and do nothing. But my
Yeah.
last question, well, my second to last question, where is the city where you learned the most about yourself?
Actually, probably Jakarta. And I've been there multiple times. I went there back in 2016. It was the first time that I had been there. I took well, first of all, it was my first very, very large international show with L'Oreal.
Okay.
And when they were like, can you go to Jakarta? And I was like, where is Jakarta? and at that time, you only went to Jakarta for business.
Mm,
There was no tourism in Jakarta. There was like very, it was just a very intimidating. It was very intimidating. I was like literally the entire week I was there, I saw maybe three Caucasian
mm,
people. So it was just like I've traveled the world and I've been in a lot of like different areas, but they had a lot of like political things going on at the time. It was just not, it was a very culturally different
mm,
area than I had been to. And I was solo traveling by
mm,
myself without any other artists and then doing a big show there. So like it was my first like big show that I also had to learn like cultural differences and like what works for production, what works
mm,
for education. I learned a lot about like how much I could handle.
mm,
Um, Also like hygienic things
yeah.
like lice is not like as big of a deal.
Mm,
It is now there,
yeah.
but back in 2016 it wasn't. So like I was just like, whoa, like I'm like in a totally different
Yeah.
like vessel right now. And just like how much I could manage and like also still take it in, work with it. And like since I have been back, I just got back. Like I said, I was just there for the first time after COVID.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, like, it's so cool. Like, when you go, I was first of all flipping out because I'm like, no, you guys, it hasn't been 10 years. And they're like almost like 8. And I'm like, no, it has not been 8 years. I am not 8 years older. And they're like, you look younger though. I'm like, thanks. So, but we were looking at pictures and it had been 8 years since I've been there. And I the it's so cool to see how much evolution and how much they've
Yeah.
grown as a country and as in the hair and beauty industry and as a team and their talent
Mm.
and skill. And that's when you like are like, okay, that's cool because that's impact.
Yeah.
That's like when, and I'm one of their artists that I've been there 3 times.
Mm.
So like, and for them to bring somebody over 3 times in 8 years
Yeah.
is a big deal. So I know that I make an impact, and to see that impact is like pretty profound. So
That's amazing.
yeah, I think that's where I've learned the most about
I
myself.
love that. And then the last question that I'll leave you with is, where can folks find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram more than I'm still trying to like get behind TikTok. I just can't. It's
It's the same
hard.
way.
I really do try. I really do try. And they're all the same handles on Instagram and TikTok. It's just different content because I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I think it's my age. Um, so my like professional and like my pro feed is my name, which is Danielle.Keasling. And that's an easy one. And then my business and salon coaching is Hair Biz and Beyond. And then my lifestyle blog, which is my passion project, and the reason that I think we connected is another million miles. And all of them on social media, TikTok, Instagram, they all have their own websites as
I love
well. And yeah, they're similar branding because it's all me,
amazing.
but another million miles is we're rebranding right now. Like we just kind of like did the whole like don't do the perfectionism paralyzation situation. So just
Yeah.
like start and go.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I cringe and I'm like, oh, like that's actually why I'm going out to LA actually to do an event for Matrix this week. And my photographer from the Netherlands is like ironically there. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking a day and you're gonna reshoot all of my stuff like me. And I hate being in front of the camera. So it's like stressful in itself, but I just need to get it done.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going through a similar situation with this vlog and podcast as well. So I'll be keeping an eye
Really?
and taking some tips from you for sure. But
You
uh
just jump,
yeah,
girl.
that's
Like
yeah,
it's the biggest thing, like, like you hold yourself back saying like it's not ready, it's not ready, it's not
right.
ready.
Yeah.
And and like I had to my business partner and I hired some coaches this year,
Mm,
and I'm a branding expert and marketing person. So like I was like, wait, like but I needed somebody else's like eyes on it.
yeah.
And I also like we went way off brand, and it wasn't it's learning. Now we're dialing it back again. But we had to do that almost to know what we wanted, to know where we were going to
Yeah.
go. And they were much more like, we know how to like run Google ads, we know how to run
Mhm.
Facebook ads. This is how it works. And like what was happening is like we were just listening to them so much that like we like kind of lost our own
Yeah.
image
You
again.
lost the plot.
And
Yeah.
it's a little frustrating because it's like you feel like you've like kind of been in a time suck.
Yeah.
But and I kept telling my business partner, I'm like, I have a reputation. People are gonna be like, what the hell is Danielle doing right now? That like doesn't even look like something she would put out there. Like we even generated like an AI ad at one point with this like girl that looked AI. I was like, and people are gonna be like, what is she doing?
I love
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna keep drinking my red wine and just saying yes. like,
And then eventually you figure it out. I feel like it's taken me
yeah.
a full year to figure out what I actually want, and then I'm gonna shut it, slow down for a few months, and then figure out how to make it happen, and then we'll go off to the races again. But I'm in a similar boat as you, and I am envious of the fact that you have a team because I need a team. I need a, I
Well,
need a,
that's been a learn.
yeah,
Like, girl, that's been. I never had a
yeah,
team, and I just got to the point where I was like, I'm one person.
Yeah.
And if I want to grow this, I have to have a partner. And it works for us because we're very different.
Yeah.
Like she's all tech and I am all networking
Yeah.
and hoopla. But like, and we clash. We don't always get along, but like we work it out and we figure it out. And then, we've now just we've like
Yeah.
learned through the last year like
Yeah.
how to source people. We have a lot of we actually my both of my virtual assistants are from the
Oh,
Philippines.
wow.
And it's been and so is one of hers.
Yeah.
And like we use and this can be like a side conversation, I can always help you, but like we use different platforms like Hubstaff and
Mm.
like onlinejobs.ph.
Mm.
And it's a kind of a pain, but like once you get a couple really good people, and like I find that like especially with the way the world's right now,
Yeah.
like my girls, I have two really great assistants in the Philippines and they show up every day. They're so great. They're so on top of it and they're so like happy to be a part of something
Yeah.
bigger. Like, and I haven't been able to I've in the US, like a lot of the VAs that I've used, it's like they want more money and they want to do
Yeah.
less. And it's just I think that it's still kind of a product of like COVID,
Yeah.
but I just I think it's given me a big like opening. And it's funny because my business partner at first was like, don't tell people that we like use, VAs out of the country. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And she's like, because it like feels like we're like looking for cheap labor. And I'm like, I don't look at it like that at all. I look at it like giving somebody that wants to work
Yeah.
hard an opportunity of a
Yeah.
lifetime. And like I said, I found two gals that I really, really have worked well with. We do a lot of Zoom calls, we do a lot of like FaceTime calls, and like they're amazing.
Yeah.
And would they'll do
Yeah.
anything. Like, so I'm actually trying to plan a trip over Christmas to go to the Philippines because I want to meet like the people that I work
Yeah,
with.
yeah, that's always so funny, right? Every time I freelance, so I bounce around a lot, and whenever I'm like I've never met these people that I've trauma bonded with in these jobs and these gigs in person. So I'm even looking to go back into TV and film just to go back and meet people in person and collaborate in person. It's
Yeah,
yeah. Oh gosh. But
that's
I have
cool.
taken up so much of your time. And it was lovely getting to speak with you. And I hope this is the first of many conversations. Thank you for
Yeah,
all of your insights and all of your help. I'm sure it's going to continue to help others as well that are listening to this. So thank you so much. And again, I hope we
absolutely.
speak in the future again.
Yeah, for sure. Let's definitely keep in touch. I want to hear about you now. You've got some really amazing and interesting stories, I'm sure as well. So,
It's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
all right, girl. Well, let's keep in touch for real. Oh, did I
Oh,
lose
I
you?
think we did, but I'm going to just stop the recording. Oh,
Oh,
there we go. You're back. Thank you for listening. I absolutely loved getting to chat with Danielle. I learned so much. I thought I was going to run out of things to talk to her about, but I could talk to her forever. She is an amazing person, and I am so excited to continue to chat with her in whatever ways I can in the future. Make sure to check out her blog, Another Million Miles, and make sure to check out all of her social media content for more tips and tricks on health, wellness, and beauty. As always, till next time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me this week for all the fun journeys and lessons learned on my big adventure called life. For more information on the different cities discussed, check out the blog posts on hieatexplorelove.com, posted every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you have any questions or fun stories to share, feel free to reach out at hieatexplorelove@gmail.com. Until next week, remember to eat well, explore the world, and love yourself. See you next time. This episode is produced, scripted, and edited by me, Ashley. Special thanks to Sarah Mientka.